Hey guys, welcome to or back to my channel. I'm going to be doing a small town book recommendation video because small town romances and just small town books in general are very much autumn, and since it's autumn I thought now is the time. I've never done a book recommendation video before. I've done a couple of reading vlogs which I'm going to try and put them in a reading folder on my YouTube in case you want to watch them, but I thought I'd do a recommendation video and I thought small town romances and books are just the perfect place to start. So first I'm going to start with series. The Chestnut Springs series and the Rose Hill series by Elsie Silver are the most perfect small town romances. Oh my god. So Chestnut Springs is the original series and then Rose Hill is the spin-off, and there's a little map like at the front of the books which shows like the Elsie Silver universe, and there's a few more towns, so we're hoping that there'll be more series to come, but I love it so much. They're also such quick reads. I'm obsessed with them. So Chestnut Springs is about the Eaton family mainly. Like the Eaton family are very much involved. Some of the books don't have Eatons like in the romance, but they're very present. And then the Rose Hill series, the first book is the brother of one of the girls who's with an Eaton boy, if that makes sense. So out of all the books, Powerless was my favorite, which was book 3. Sorry, I've got my laptop here, which is if I look to the side, and that was Jasper and Sloane's book. So good. That was a 5 stars, but none of the books went below 4 stars. They were all 4 or 5 stars or a 4.5, so they were all perfect. And there's lots of forced proximity and it's very cowboy, and also they're all on Kindle Unlimited, so if you have Kindle Unlimited it's perfect. I think I have a link for a free trial for Kindle Unlimited. If I do, I'll put it in the description. I don't know if I still have it. I'll really quickly go through all the books. So also because you can read them as standalones if you want, because I don't think you'd have to read one book to make the others make sense. If there's just one that you prefer the tropes in or whatever, then it's perfect. So the first one's Flawless. It's about Summer and Rhett and it's enemies to lovers, which perfect. It's workplace. It's again forced proximity. It's perfect. Then the second one is Heartless, and this is Willa and Cade, and so it's Willa's brother who's in the first book in the Rose Hill series, so that's where that connection is. Cade is a single dad, so if you like single dad tropes, it's perfect. And then it's again forced proximity and kind of an age gap. It's not like a huge age gap, but it is a bit of an age gap. Then Powerless is the third one, and that's Sloane and Jasper's, and it's a sports romance. I love a good sports romance, so I think that's why I like it, and it's very much childhood friends to lovers. Oh, perfect. Then Reckless is Winter and Theo, and Winter is Summer's sister or stepsister, so Summer from the first book and Winter from the fourth. The names I know, and this is very found family. And Second Chance is a cute book. It might be maybe my least favorite. I think they're my least favorite couple. They're still really cute. And then the last one in the Chestnut Springs series is Hopeless, and this is about Beau and Bailey. They're at age gap, and a lot more of a significant age gap compared to like Willa and Cade. It's still a really good book though. That's the longest book, but that one's the last one in the series, so I guess they're trying to kind of round it off. And it's again, like I said, age gap and fake dating, so if you like fake dating, it's perfect. I love a good fake dating. Then for the Rose Hill series, there's only 2 books out right now, but they're really good, and it means that you can, you know, binge read the first books, the first 7 out of the series and spin-off, and then if you're waiting, I think the second book only came out in September, so I think we've got a little bit to wait, but it's fine. I think by next autumn it will be out. So the first one is Wild Love, and that's about Willa's brother, so Willa from the one with Cade, the second book, and her brother's Ford, and it's his romance with Rosie. It's brother's best friend, so I love it every time. And that's also single parent, kind of like a sprung upon becoming a single parent, if that makes sense. And Ford's a single parent, so again it's a dad, a single dad. It's enemies to lovers and workplace, so you get the little cute love it. And then the last one is Wild Eyes, and that is West and Skylar. So West is Ford's best friend. You see, they're all interconnected, and that again is single parent and again single dad. Elsie Silver loves the single dads clearly, and it's very much a found family. This one is so cute because of like the single dad bit, and also famous because Skylar is a famous singer, so if you very much small town crossed with a singer, that's it for those series. So good. If you take anything from this book, it's to read those and the next one. The next series is the Eden series. I love them so much. I haven't read the 6th book. I think it's the 6th, the most recent one I haven't read, but I read all the others, I'm sure there was like a novella, like a Christmas one that I've read. I love them. It's pretty much it's similar to Chestnut Springs in that it's about the Edens family, and the family's like the dominant, I guess, family, like a huge family, the dominant one in the town, like the Chestnut Springs. So if you like that, especially because I don't know, I like it when it's a family, because sometimes I'm going off on a tangent here, but you know, if you read like a sports romance series like Off Campus, for example, it's all hockey romances, but I guess with this you get different types, which I really like. And again, it's on Kindle Unlimited and it's set in Montana. Oh, and the other ones are set in Canada, but this is set in Montana. I'm clearly not American, so I don't really know much about Montana. Won't be able to tell you where it is. So the first one is Indigo Ridge, and this is about Winslow and Griffin. Winslow, I cannot say her name, is the new chief of police. Like, she's new to the town, and she had a one-night stand with Griffin, and Griffin is one of the Eden boys, so he's very much like king of the town, and he like wants nothing to do with her. But there's a woman found dead on the Eden property, so Winslow has to kind of get involved. So they're crossing paths, which you know how that's gonna end, don't you? So it's very much like enemies to lovers, Grumpy Sunshine. It's brilliant. I eat it up every single time, that type of trope. I don't care how many times I've read it. Next is Juniper Hill, and this is between Memphis and Knox. And Memphis is a new single mother. She comes to the town with her new baby, and she starts working at a hotel, the Eloise Inn, which is run by another one of the siblings, and she gets her book later on, so don't you worry. And Knox is the chef there, and it's been a while since I read it. I'm pretty sure she goes and stays in an apartment that's the Edens, and I'm pretty sure it's like above Knox's, so they then cross paths there. It's very cute. So it's obviously false proximity. It's also found a family, because Memphis kind of gets accepted into the Eden clan. Garnet Falls is about Talia, Eden, and Foster. So Foster married Talia's best friend, which obviously and Foster is famous. I can't remember, he's like a fighter or something like that, and so he comes back to the town and he wants to get Talia to help him train, and he's just got divorced from Talia's best friend, and then, you know, we're slipping back into old habits, as you can imagine. It's really good. So obviously, again, enemies to lovers and also second chance, so you can very sense a theme in these books. A lot of enemies to lovers, a lot of false proximity, second chance, but it's perfect every single time. Then Jasper Vale is about Eloise, and Jasper Eloise is the one that runs the Eloise Inn, although it's not named after her, it's named after like the great grandma or something like that, coincidence type of thing. And she's trying to like prove herself to her parents that she's, you know, worthy of running the inn. And then she goes to Vegas and gets married to Jasper when she's very drunk, and so she's like, oh no, but he convinces her to stay married. I'm pretty sure it was so that they could go to a wedding together, like she could be his date, and then from there, you know how it ends. So marriage of convenience and fake dating trope, and it's also Grumpy Sunshine, so perfect. And then the fifth one, so like I said, I haven't read the sixth one, but the fifth one is Crimson River, and this was my 5 stars. I don't think I've given any of the others 5 stars. I think they were all 4 or 4.5, but this was 5 stars, so this is currently my favorite. It was so good because it was a bit of like mystery, you know, rather than it just being a romance, which there was in the first book as well, but we love a bit of mystery because as much as I love romance, it's nice to spice things up a bit. So Lila runs a bakery, and she's very like dedicated to it. She hasn't taken a day off in 100 days. And so Eloise, I'm pretty sure it's Eloise, oh, I don't know, one of her sisters stages an intervention, and so Lila goes on a walk. Is what else would she do on her day off? And she comes across a man washing blood off his hands in a river. That's where the name Crimson River comes from. And he puts his hands around her throat, so not the nicest, but he lets her go for some reason. So obviously that's great that she's still living and breathing. So she calls the police, obviously, because she's smart, and Vance comes as like a detective because he's been following this case for a long time. So they're kind of, you know, investigating together, false proximity. And there is a 6th book, but I've not read it yet. But I'm so excited to, because it's on Kindle Unlimited. Oh, I'm excited. Hi, this is Editing Amelia here. It's not on Kindle Unlimited anymore for some reason, so I'm sorry about that, and that's why I haven't read the last book, because it's not on Kindle Unlimited anymore, and there's so many books on Kindle Unlimited that I want to read that I'm just prioritizing those. So I hope it gets added again. I don't know why it was taken off, but yeah, I'm sorry about that. Hopefully it gets added back. At least it's not on Kindle Unlimited in the UK. I assume it's the same for everywhere else, but I'm not sure. So that's not great. Right, now I'm on to standalones, or well, this next one, it is in a series, Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. This I'm sure was on Kindle Unlimited. Maybe it wasn't. I read it on my Kindle. I do actually have the next one, We Hide From the Light. I do have it, but I've not read it yet. Obviously this is small town romance as well, but I heard mixed reviews about it. But there is a third book as well. I don't know what it's called, but Things We Never Got Over. I did give it a 5 stars. It's a pretty chunky book. It's pretty big, like that one is. So Naomi runs from her wedding and she ends up in this small town, and this small town is where Naomi's twin sister Tina, is she called Tina? Yeah, lives, and she leaves her daughter, so Naomi's niece, with Naomi, and she ditches, I'm pretty sure she steals Naomi's money or something, and then Naomi's stuck in this small town with a niece looking after her, so I guess like single parent in that respect. And the guy's called Knox, isn't he? Yeah, they're always called Knox. Maybe they're not, but that just rings a bell. And so he helps her out. I'm pretty sure, doesn't he give her like a house to stay in? Or am I just completely making that up? Or at least they live very near to each other. I read it a long time ago. Like, I'm recommending this book and I'm like, I actually don't know what happens, but it was good. Oh my god, and it's fake dating. I remember that now. So false proximity, fake dating, grumpy sunshine, obviously single parent because she's looking after her niece. So I kind of like it when it's like single parent but not your child, if that makes sense. Next, I wrote down the Twilight series. Here it is. I actually don't think I need to go into depth with you. It's Twilight. Read it. Just read it. Yeah, because I actually didn't write any notes for Twilight because you don't need it. Next is Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I read this in, I remember, I finished the book the morning that I went to see Gracie Abrams for the first time in 2022. I remember I woke up at like 4 AM that night because I couldn't sleep. I was probably so excited. And I remember just lying with my Kindle and reading it until the sun rose, and it was good. Kind of, is it even summery? I don't know, maybe it's just because I read it in like May that I associate it with. But they are both writers. What are their names? Nora and Charlie. They're both writers and they're both in this small town. So yeah, enemies to lovers. I guess false proximity because they're in the same town, small town. There's not much else I can say. It's really good. Next is Archer's Voice. This was a 5 stars, obviously. I love it. I think I need to read it again because it was so good. I just remember Steph Bore, I don't know how you say her last name, constantly talking about it, and I was like, I have to read it, and I get the hype so much. I'm pretty sure, does she not have a tattoo for him? So it's about Brian Archer, and Archer cannot speak because, oh, I can't remember, there was like an accident where something damaged his vocals and didn't like his aunt not help or something, I can't remember, but anyway, he cannot speak, and so he's like the outcast, I guess, in the town. So Bree's new to this town. Her dad just died and she runs into Archer, I'm sure it was at a supermarket, and he doesn't communicate with everyone, but he kind of, she's persistent, and so he starts to communicate with her, and it's just very cute, very wholesome. There's nothing quite like it. I see how this is gonna go. Touch me and never be alone. I breeze the lights down. Next is Make Me Lose by Amber Lee, and it's about Grayson and Hazel. So Hazel is a real estate agent in the hometown, like the hometown that they grew up in, and Grayson's moved away, you know, big city life, but his grandma dies and she left the house to him, or he has to sell it basically, and Hazel is the real estate agent, so he has to kind of convince her to sell a house. And then false proximity, it was very much a second chance romance, you know, they had their time, and then she kind of thought he ditched her, but then it's like, oh, what actually happened? So it was really good. And also it was, I don't know if it was coastal or on a lake, I just remember there being water because they go on like boat trips in the book. Second chance, and it was lovers to enemies to lovers. So yeah, I gave it 4 stars. It might be on Kindle Unlimited. To be fair, most of the books I read are on Kindle Unlimited. Next is Left Field Love by, I'm gonna have to read this, C.W. Farnsworth, and I gave it 4 stars. It's about Lennon and Caleb, and Caleb's like the rich, what sport did he do? Football? Baseball. So he's like the the popular guy at school, and Lennon is not. She's kind of like under the radar, and Lennon knows that she's not going to leave the town that they live in because she's looking after her family. I'm pretty sure she was looking after a farm, but Caleb wants to get out because he didn't even want to move there in the first place because he hasn't lived there his whole life. He's relatively new, so he wants to get out. She wants to, well, she kind of has to stay in, and he's kind of obsessed with her, and she's like, why won't he leave me alone? And then you know why he won't leave her alone. So yeah, and that is on Kindle Unlimited. Sports romance, enemies to lovers, pretty good. Like I said, I gave it 4 stars. Nora goes off script. Oh my god, this book, I loved it. 5 stars. It was about Nora and Leo. So Nora's husband has left her and she has 2 kids, and she is a screenwriter, so she writes for films. I'm sure you know what a screenwriter is. I don't have to explain it to you. And she's doing it to get money for bills because her husband just left her. You know, there's now only one stream of income. And Leo is starring in the film of the screenwriting that she did, and it was about the messiness of her life. And Leo's like the big actor. Picture like Tom Holland, Timothy Chalamet, like the one that everyone loves type of thing. And they film a few scenes at her house. So Leo comes to her house and he offers to pay her, was it £1,000 a day? $1,000, yeah, a day to stay at her house for a week, because like once the filming's ended, because he's like, I love it here. And then it goes from there. And so it's single parent, obviously. Leo kind of bonds with the kids, which we love. Close proximity, obviously, and found family for Leo kind of joining. Their family is really cute. Next is In a Jam by, I'm gonna have to read this again, Kate Canterbury, and I gave it 4 stars. It was really good. So Shay's step-grandmother left her a tulip farm, but only on 2 conditions: that she moves back to the town that the tulip farm is in, and that she's married within a year. But she just broke up with her fiance. What are we gonna do? And Noah is the male love interest, and he liked Shay since high school, and he lives there as well. I'm pretty sure he's looking after his niece as well. Yeah, and he's running his family business, and we go from there. Fake dating, false proximity, friends to lovers, grumpy sunshine. It's on Kindle Unlimited. I don't know if I told you that. But marriage of convenience, obviously, because we've got to get married to get the farm. Fake dating, obviously, because it's marriage of convenience. Second chance, single parent. It's all the tropes you could ever want. Ever. It's perfect. And this is the second to last book, The Crush by Penelope Ward, which I gave 4 stars again. And it's about Farrah and Jace. And Jace is Farrah's brother's best friend. So it's brother's best friend trope, obviously. And he's 6 years older, I think. Yes, he's 6 years older. And she kind of always had a crush on him. But now they're in their 20s. Jace moves into the house with Farrah and her brother because I think their parents died, did they? Yeah, and so they need money, so I guess having another roommate helps. And then there we go, false proximity. And it's childhood friends, second chance, you know the deal. And last is Nothing More to Tell by Karen M. McManus. This actually isn't a romance, sorry. And it's a YA book. It's probably, is it one of the only YA books? I don't know. I gave it 4 stars. It's more of a mystery. So 4 years ago, Bryn left her high school after the murder of her favourite teacher. And the case was never solved, but she's pretty sure that the kids that found the teacher have something to do with it. And one of the people who found the teacher was her ex-best friend, Trip. And he's the male in our book here, so. And Bryn gets a job as like an intern working on a true crime podcast. So she's like, let's get into it. Let's get into it. So yeah, she uncovers it. But there is a romance in it, to be fair. It's like second chance, childhood friends to lovers. So but yeah, thank you for watching. I love you so much. I really appreciate you. Let me know if there are any other book videos you want me to see, if there are any specific tropes you want, or if you like the book vlogs, but also any other non-book videos, because I'm open to any suggestions. So yeah, thank you for watching. I love you. Please subscribe if you aren't already, and follow all my other social medias. They'll all be linked in the description. I love you. Goodbye.